Hello people, and welcome to a long overdue episode of Iron Fist Mining. In case you don't follow me on Facebook, I hurt my back digging up mud for work. We averaged about 1,500 pounds per hour, and it ended up straining my back so bad that I was down for 3 weeks. I couldn't even move. I did continue going to work, but mining was out of the question. And then I got food poisoning again, for the second time. Now, I've decided, because I've been fighting with Joe and his girlfriend, that I needed some time. Just chill out and come down here, even though my back's still a little sore. I need to get back to digging. Now, I'll probably at some point show you some footage of the storm that came through here. See how these grass pieces are laying down? There's a big rainstorm that came through, dumped a whole bunch of rain, it flooded. So my normal spot's a little full, but there's all brand new material here. I found some really good crystals just sitting on the top, and I don't recognize any of the new material that's here. In fact, it's changed it a little bit. But there's something over here that I kind of wanted to show you. You can see how when the water gets too high and it comes over this, it goes in that little ditch and it flows straight through here out to the back side. But on this back side, it kind of reveals something that I thought you should see. These dark patches, it's black sand mixed with mud. Here's some more. And you start seeing these shapes in it. I don't know if you can see that, but it's kind of canoe shaped looking. You'll definitely be able to see it over here. So I'll just quit yapping and walk. Out of breath. Here's a great example. Okay, these swirls were caused when the water came rushing through and hit this bush. The bush kicked it out on the sides. That's why roots and stuff will always have a great amount of black sand and gold trapped in it. But these swirls are showing you how stuff deposits here. And the gold will do similar things to what this is doing. It mimics it. It follows suit. You can see here where the water was rushing through, in the center channel, it left a nice sharp black line all the way down to the edge of the water. Here's more of it. So that means in a couple days will pass, the sun will come out, and you won't see any of this stuff. It'll all go blonde, because that material's so heavy, it'll sink. In fact, look right here in the water, on the water's edge. Can you see all that? Next to the stick. It's everywhere. And that's something you want to keep in mind when you're wondering, how's the gold flowing? Is it going in a straight line? It does like this. It does this stuff. So, why don't I just show you the rain footage now? I'll get set up, and I brought the 4-inch dredge today to test it out. I can't even get through there. It used to be a path. These things, debris flows, get stuck in there. Boy, I smell a skunk. Ooh, you're getting close, too. Hope you don't spray me. Anyway, here's some rain footage. I'm going to find some crystals and other cool stuff today to show you. I already saw some black tourmaline in a rock. So, enjoy this footage. We'll be back in a second. February 28th, 2014. Look at that ribbon of water. I ran in to grab the camera, because Joey and I put this bucket out here. It's not, there's so much water pressure now, it's flying out of it. Yeesh. It filled that up in less than 10 minutes. Got a pond over there. Dog can't go pee. I bet my car's flooding out front. You better go look. Nice. Dude. Let the dogs out. Come out here. I don't have to worry about them belling. Not in this. Yeah, there's a nice little creek flowing out there. The tiles blow out because the clay is so slippery in this stuff. the drain isn't clogged, it's actually just, that's all it can handle. There's like a river flowing down the street. Wow. Alright, so you saw the rain that caused all this fluting and the water to rise. Now, I tried sticking it out here. The water was faster than I would have liked it, so I know I blew gold out, but when I dumped out the minimal stuff that was in there, I caught some gold anyway. Fair little bit, and rather large pieces. This is called surge gold. The current surged, brought in new material, new deposits. I'm gonna have to set up in a different spot with a little bit calmer water. That 4-inch, oh my God. That 3-inch, there's no way. It would take 2 or 3 to fill up the feeder. And this thing doesn't one pull, and it's almost too much. So if I can get the water flow down a little bit, because it's strong enough, it's blowing up over my waders, or my anklers. But I was digging right off that rock right there. So I gotta find a place I can put it, probably right here on the edge, and I'll just work some of the shallow stuff and see what I get. I did find a really cool crystal. I saw it sitting out there and I walked out and picked it up. It's got this nice big spire on it, which is pretty hazy to the naked eye, but when it was wet, it was pretty transparent. The camera's probably not going to focus on it all that well. But they're out here. I'm just picking them up off the ground. I'll show you some of the other ones I found later. Okay, so both times that I've ran, they were around 20 to 30 minutes. And I managed to pick up some more chunky. See that big piece over there on the right-hand side of your screen? I believe it's the right-hand side. Anyway, I think I may have found another deposit someplace else other than out here. I was kind of dorking around up and down the creek looking for stuff. And I think I may have found a better little deposit where it normally isn't at. So, you know, conditions change when it surges through. So I'm going to see if it does hold some more with this third and probably final one. I don't really want to hurt my back in the middle of the week. So we're going to set up one more time. We'll see what happens. Originally I was right about there where the other two cleanouts were. I walked down here to this edge. You might be able to see it. You see all that mercury just sitting down in there? Well, maybe if I dip the camera underwater you can see it, but there's a big pile of it right there. I wasn't panning out there. It's just I found a big huge pile of it right along this edge. Wasn't out there. I even dug a hole here and found some gold. But you know, you're just hitting that inside bend there. There's a lot more fine gold here, which I'll show you what I got in a minute. But I was walking around looking. I kind of feel like in that episode of Prospectors where Steve Roncato was walking around looking for mushrooms. Boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, boom. I was having more fun picking up crystals. Now this one is a giant crystal. I call them ice cubes. The sun really isn't out today, but this thing is translucent, and underneath this little edge I'm pointing with my pointer finger, there's a bunch of little super clear crystals in there. And there's a cluster of them right there. But what I like is if you put like a laser inside one, behind one of these, it looks like a coal burning. This one I found right here on top of that piece of grass. I just happened to sit some stuff down and found it. It's a little cluster of crystals, but it was like snapped off a bigger one. That's the one I showed you earlier. Nothing great. This one's probably not going to show up at all, but there's tiny little crystals packed in the corners, and this one on the top is actually a big one. It failed to form right, so it's kind of ugly. This one's the same, but you can really see the ice on top of that, baby. Look like ice cubes stuck in there, right? I hope that comes out because it's really neat looking. I gotta clean out those cracks and crevices, but I could cut the back face of that off. Now, at one point I'll show you guys how to do that with a grinder. This one I found just walking upstream by where I was digging earlier, and it really looks like an ice cube. In fact, you can see through it completely. I wish the sun was out more. You can kind of see the light going through it that way. But it's a really neat piece. There's this fine lightning-shaped bolt crack that goes through it that's got this golden hue. But this one was a huge crystal. It's flat on all sides. Kind of dig it, man. Having fun. Anyway, that was the little bit of gold I got out of this corner. A lot more fine stuff. I'll come right back and I'll show you how much I got total. And that's a gold total for the day. It's not too shabby. You saw all the chunks before. But it's only like 1/10 of a gram. And you got to remember, this is only, see, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 50 minutes, and then another 30. So that'd be like 80 minutes total that took. Maybe an hour and a half-ish. So it's not too bad. I'm not upset about how much I got, especially because I was walking around looking at junk. Now there's something else I want to show you guys before I take off for the day. Alright, so the weather's starting to get bad again. Now, I don't want to get caught out here in the rain, plus I got some other stuff I got to do before I go back to work. But if you don't remember, in the beginning of the episode, here's a little shot of what this area looked like. Whew, out of breath. Here's a great example. Okay, these swirls were caused when the water came rushing through and hit this bush. Remember how I said that stuff will start to disappear, the darkness, showing you the lines? It's already starting to sink into the ground. It's starting to blonde up, and here pretty soon, I'm not going to be able to see this type of stratification that naturally occurred. And it's important to recognize this because it shows you how it travels. The heavies travel in the system that you're working. Especially over here towards the edge, the evidence is almost gone, except for these high points where it really piled up. What I'm going to end up doing is take a picture of this. That way I never forget how it laid down. But it goes to show you why I don't find big chunks here or big piles of it, because it travels so oddly. No straight lines and junk like that. So how you vision it happening and how it actually happens can be two completely different things. But it really shows you where it's at. You'll just get like a band in here. There'll be some, but not back here. And then you'll get some in there, but not in the other place. You just hit little nests of it. A little home, a little sitting ground, as it were. Alright, I'm starting to space out and look for more crystals, but I really got to load my gear, and then we'll do a little talkie-talkie at the end of this. I haven't did one of those in a while. Alright, people, so the day's coming to an end. Got to get back, do some chores. But for the epilogue today, there's a couple things I'd like to talk about. I've been seeing a lot of stuff in the news and in the mining talk, chat, shared links, especially on Facebook, where they're talking about, you know, the government's messing with the miners and blah, 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 blah. There's one thing that none of the miners are doing. I seem to be one of the only ones, and that's reclamating as you go. Reclamation simply means putting back as you found it. Now what I do out here, and I've showed you before, I'll take my tailings, pile them up towards the edge of the banks. By doing that, it shores it up and keeps the gold producing where I like to dig it out. New material comes down in the surges and fills up the spots that I know to hold the gold. So by doing it that way, I actually make my spot more productive. Now, a lot of these miners will just go out and tear the hell out of the place, trying to find it, and then leave it that way. That gives the government and the legislators and the people that whine about it ammunition. So if you take your time and repair some of the damage as you go, they really have nothing to complain about. especially if you make it a better spot, which it does, especially for the wildlife. But that's not something I can force anybody to do. It's just something maybe you should consider. On another note, earlier in the episode I was talking about how Joe and I had been arguing. That's why Joe hasn't been in any of these episodes. Or any episodes featuring the cars and stuff. You know, it's few and far in between. And those of you that have watched this channel from the beginning know what I'm talking about. As it started out, it was, you know, Joey and I did a lot of stuff together. Pretty much best friends and inseparable. Made a good team. Especially in Bethel Brothers Hot Rod. But Joe's girlfriend, Julie, likes him to spend a lot of time with her, which is fine. I don't want Joe to be single his whole life and not, you know, be in love and all that other stuff that makes me sick. But it's his choice. So there's certain things that they like to do that I'm not into. That's not hanging out. And I try to stay out of their way. I'm not trying to make problems for them. Last night, Julie kind of flipped out a little bit and said some things she couldn't take back, which today she apologized for. Not to me, but point being, there's no getting along, and Joe's probably going to be out of the picture here pretty shortly. I mean, altogether. So that's kind of what's been going on with the Joe thing. I haven't talked about it in other episodes because it's just, you know, what people like to do and choose to do with their lives is their business, especially in this country as far as I'm concerned. You know, live free, do what you want. Leave me out of it if I ain't into it. Just, you know, people change and stuff. That's what you go through. And again, it goes back like with the mining thing. It's all about choices in this life. You can reclamate or you can destroy. I choose to reclamate. Besides, it works to my advantage, so why wouldn't you do that? So, now you know what's going on. A little update, too. This weekend, I'm planning to go help Brett. Remember Brett came to my house when I lived in Loma Rica with that limousine, flipside limo service? Anyway, Brett sold a truck to my brother, and he used the money to buy a claim. I see a crystal over there. Anyway, I'm going to go help him find some gold on that. I'm not going to tell you where it's at. I'm not going to name anything because it's a private claim. There's no way you can get in there unless you got keys and stuff, so it's pretty much virgin ground. And it's in a place that's known to have low gold. So look forward to that sometime this weekend. I'm not sure when. I got a lot of stuff on my plate right now. Especially with Joe probably going to be moving out here soon. I got to get some ducks in a row. So if you don't see me around and you're not following me on Facey Space, then you know. And if you choose to find me on Facebook, if you go to my front page here on YouTube, there's little icons. There's a red star that leads you to my music, and then the Facebook symbol. Click that. You go to my page, add me as a friend, I'll add you. I'm not a schnob. I try to talk to everybody, but with 1 million viewers, it's hard to get to all of you. He thinks I'm dead. Anyway, there you have it, people. You're all updated. I showed you some stuff, and it'll probably be refreshing to see another spot come when I go to Brett's claim, so we'll find out. I'll have him explain some stuff that he went through to get a private claim that's not on BLM land, so it should be pretty cool. It's kind of hard to get to, so we'll see if we can get in there with any kind of equipment, which he bought. We'll just have to see. But from me to you people, from the Dan Show, this is Iron Fist Mining, saying peace out, babies. I'm going to pick up that crystal now.